finally figured it out. Got a bad head gasket. Good compression. My head gasket's blown though. Kind of weird. Guess I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do now. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I've got some bad news about the wagon. She's having some issues and she's going to be down for the count for quite a while I try to figure out what it is I'm going to do. Since I've been working, and obviously it's my daily car, she developed a few little issues. Originally I did have my half-size radiator, a 3-core half-size radiator from the Civic with a slim fan setup in here, and it was doing fine under normal temp and normal driving conditions. But once the summertime hit, I decided to get my AC going, and once I got my AC charged up and I started running my AC, the radiator and engine started having problems trying to hold a normal temperature. The radiator was just staying heat soaked. Don't know if that was possibly because of just that I have just a slim fan on it, or it could be a factor of that the radiator is a triple core and it's just so thick that I wasn't getting enough airflow through here. And but it did fine on the freeways at freeway speeds, so I figured at first I was just going to try to possibly do a push-pull fan setup on that half radiator in here, which I originally had in here because I was going to boost the car, but I wanted to keep my AC, and my turbo setup was going to run into a lot of issues working around the AC line. So being that it was a daily driver, I decided I'm not going to boost this thing. But I did all the work to put the radiator in, so I just stuck with that radiator. But once I decided to get my AC going, I started having issues with it keeping and holding temperature. I ended up pulling my thermostat out completely, and that really didn't help it out at all. And then after that, my AC decided that the compressor was going to go out, and so over the last few weeks it's just been a headache of problems. I ended up having also an issue with the clutch. I was losing some fluid and the pedal was starting to act funny, and it ended up being that my slave cylinder was leaking, so I got that replaced. And I also got my AC compressor. I got that sealed up and replaced as well. And as soon as I did that, a few days ago, she started misfiring on the way home from work. And the more I drove it, the worse it got. So this just over this weekend, I've been trying to figure out what the misfiring issue has been with the car. I've gone through everything from front to back on the whole entire, everything I can think of that, would cause the misfires. And it ended up eventually throwing me a code for my cylinder position sensor in my distributor. So I threw another distributor on it and figured it was going to be good to go at that point, and decided I was going to also get rid of the half-size radiator and put a full stock OEM radiator and fan setup in here so I could get my AC going and know that 100% I'm not going to have any issues with my engine holding temperature. And as soon as I replaced the distributor, got my OEM radiator back in, threw my thermostat back in, and got the car running, my misfiring became worse. And it kept getting worse and worse when I drove it down the road trying to figure out what was going on. Thought maybe my fuel injectors were clogged, and I cleaned those out, put those back in, and was still doing the same thing. And if you follow me on social media, then you would have seen the other night that as I was walking behind my car to go try to find something inside and I had my flashlight on, I noticed that I had white smoke and a nice sweet antifreeze burn smell coming out my exhaust. So all my misfire issues have been due to the head gasket going out, and it seems like that head gasket went from being okay to bad like that. So at the moment I'm kind of stuck. I don't know really what I'm going to end up doing. Everything that I have here needs parts. I could just throw another head gasket set on this, probably call it a day, but I don't want to freshen up the top end without freshening up the bottom end. So initially this engine's going to need a full rebuild. My old H22 from the wrecked coupe, it is still a good motor, but I need to throw camshafts in it, a timing belt, a water pump. I need to put all new seals on it, so that one needs a lot of work. The one that I have there on the stand, an H23 VTEC, that one's got some bad piston rings, so it needs a whole entire rebuild. And I'm stuck driving the Prelude for the moment, and even that thing needs some valve springs, for the head, because I got weak valve springs in that. So no matter what I'm looking at, I got to spend a lot of money, or no matter what I'm looking at, I got to spend some money to fix any of the issues that I'm having. So the wagon is definitely down for a little while I try to figure out what I'm going to do. At the moment, I'm just going to get everything set up and get the motor at least pulled out of the car and then after I get the motor pulled out, I'll have more time to sit and think about what I'm going to do as far as either just fixing this one, doing the H23 VTEC, fixing the old H22 and throwing that one in here, or if I'm going to do something about the Prelude motor and possibly throw the Prelude's motor in here, because I do have the plans to boost a different engine for the Prelude. So I do have a lot of options, but every one of my options means I'm going to have to spend some money, and this car is definitely going to be down, and if I do anything with that motor, that means that car is also going to be down. So initially at the moment I'm kind of stuck. We're trying to just deal with just getting this car back up and going somehow. So I'm going to get started on getting this engine removed from the car. I've already got my radiator drained. Get the radiator pulled out. I'll get all my accessories pulled out. Unplug all the wiring that I have down there below my intake manifold. Get all the hoses disconnected. Get the distributor and wires off of there. And then I can get the car up off of the ground, work on the suspension and axles, and then yank the motor out. And we'll go from there. Everything on the top side is all ready to go, except for the exhaust header. I got everything unbolted around the top. Car's up on jack stands. I just got to pull my wheels off, get all the fluids drained, get the axles out, and then I can hook up the engine hoist and yank this thing out of the car. Well, everything's all ready to go now. Everything down below the car is all disattached, ready to go. Everything up on the top side is done. The motor's just sitting here hanging on just the two side mounts. Now it's just time for me to get the engine hoist out, get this thing hooked up to it, and pluck this motor out of the car, and then we'll set it down and figure out what I'm going to do from here. Alright, well, I've got the motor out of the car now, and I've got a few more days to make my decision on whether I'm going to try to fix this engine or one of the other ones laying around here, so that hopefully I can have the wagon back up and running within the next week or two. I don't really have anything else for you guys today. That's going to do it while I sit and think about what I need to do with this thing. Till next time, guys, have a good one. Peace out.